That knowing, you should feel confident. That's where your confidence should come from. So today's video, I'm trying to keep short and simple. I really just want to touch on a topic that I discussed in a previous video. Lately, I've been thinking a lot about what confidence really is and where it comes from. In the previous video that I did where I talked about confidence, how to boost your own confidence and feel more secure within yourself, I shared a lot about finding your confidence in your competencies and basically understanding the things that you are good at, getting better at those things, and practicing them more to help build your self-confidence and your self-esteem. And while all of those things are true, lately I've been doing a lot of growing with God, learning more about Him, understanding more of how He works, who He is, what He's made of, what He's like. And in doing so, it's really sort of caused me to shift my perspective on what confidence truly is and where it comes from. As women, we're always told to trust ourselves more, love ourselves more, and believe in ourselves more. And while all of those things are important, the more I grow to learn and understand God, the more my mindset around confidence and self-love really changes to something else. And I'm going to talk about it with you in this video today. For me, my confidence is really starting to shift around trusting the way that God designed me. And not just spiritually, but physically, emotionally, creatively, all of it. You know, because God really did His big one with me. And I'm not tooting my own horn, I am. But when I sit back and I think about, you know, how intentional God is, right? And then I think about the way that He created me. Very specific, right? Very specific. He created me to be creative, to be beautiful, to love beautiful things. He created me with the ability to have vision and bring visions to life, to admire beauty, to love beauty. And this reminds me of a conversation I had with my therapist a while ago about letting go of the belief that I have to cover up my gifts or hide my gifts or be afraid or ashamed to show my gifts. And I know just hearing that or saying that out loud, it doesn't make sense, but for the longest time I had been sort of programmed, if you will, to believe that my desire for beauty was vanity or promiscuous or just overall not a good thing, right? I also grew up believing that the way that I look was not a good thing as well. Being a beautiful woman or an attractive woman in any sense, but being an attractive woman in any sense was sinful, for lack of a better word. It made me promiscuous. It made me full of myself. It made me dangerous. I, for the longest time, believed that the way that God created me was not necessarily the way that I was meant to be, and that I had to change myself or tweak myself or shrink myself or dim myself to be safe, to be liked, to fit in. And now I don't have those beliefs anymore. God, right? But the reason I don't have those beliefs anymore is because I fully understand now, right? That God made me who I am, who I was intended to be, exactly how I am. And it would be a disservice, completely and 100% a disservice, to dim my light, to discredit God's work. God made me a beautiful woman. And who would I be to sit up here and not acknowledge the work that God did? And I don't believe that that's vanity. I really believe that that's just recognition of God's grace, honestly. Because beauty is really in the eye of the beholder. Not to be all cliche or whatever, but attraction is subjective. And God could have made me a woman that majority of people did not find attractive. That could have been my reality. It very well could be my reality in the future. But I recognize that that's not my reality and that that's intentional. And so it's not something to beat myself up about. It's not something to overthink and overanalyze and be ashamed of, really. And I'm speaking on myself, but I'm speaking to you as well. If God made you a beautiful woman, it's nothing to be ashamed of. If you are blessed with natural beauty, if people are naturally attracted to the way that you look, it's nothing to be ashamed of. That is the 100% truth. God made so many beautiful things, so many beautiful people, and human beings are attracted to beautiful, wonderful things. So it's nothing to be ashamed of that God decided to make you beautiful. And there is intention in everything that He does. You're not beautiful for no reason. You may not know that reason, that's okay, but know that it was intentional and that it's nothing to be ashamed of. And in that knowing, you should feel confident. That's where your confidence should come from. And knowing that God put so much thought into creating you the way that He created you. And I speak a lot about beauty because I love beauty. You're gonna hear me talk about physical things a lot because it's something that I love. I'm not gonna be ashamed of it. I'm not gonna belittle it. I'm not gonna try to make it a small thing. It's what I love. It's the way that God made me. I'm gonna embrace that. So you're gonna hear me talk about beauty a lot in this video, on this channel, in general, because that's me. But this concept not only applies to beauty, aesthetics, but in the other ways that God made you, or me. I'll talk about myself. We won't talk about you today. We'll just talk about me. There are other ways that God made me that when I think about it, like just the pure thought of thinking about it just makes me so grateful. And from that gratitude, I have security within myself. God made me a woman of patience. And for the longest time, I did not think that I had patience. But when I look at how other people respond to certain things and the amount of time that people are willing to give to certain things versus the amount of time that I'm willing to give to certain things, I could definitely say that God has given me patience, and I am so grateful. I am so grateful that that is a part of who I am. Me being a patient woman has allowed me to pursue certain things that most people would not have the patience to pursue, at least not consistently. This YouTube channel, for example, a lot of people look at YouTubers and think, oh, this is easy, I can do that. And they start and then they realize that there's a lot more to it than they realize. And they get frustrated, they lose their patience, and they just give up. But I thank God that He gave me the patience to be able to sit with things like this, to take my time to learn and not be overly frustrated. There are times when I do get frustrated, but it's not to the point where I want to quit or I want to give up. When I get frustrated with YouTube or content creation or being a creator in general, I don't give up. I simply take a step back and then I pivot. And I thank God that He created me that way because, like I said, it has allowed me to learn so much, to experience so much. And a lot of these skills and abilities that I have come from me being so patient. That's intentional. God made me that way. Thank you. Thank you. So confidence isn't performance, it's permission. It's giving yourself freedom to be who God created you to be. Your beauty, your voice, your body, your presence, it's all a reflection of God. And there's no need to hide it. There's no need to dilute it or be humble about it because God didn't make any mistakes when He made you, when He made me, when He made all of us. Your identity starts with who made you. And if you don't have a relationship with God or you don't understand who God is or what He's all about, I encourage you to research for yourself. Most people would say pick up a Bible, but God speaks to us in many different ways. He's not going to speak to everyone through the Bible. That definitely wasn't the way that He reached out to me. And maybe one day I'll share that story, but not today. I don't want this video to be too long. But if you don't have that understanding of who God is, I encourage you to do some research. Look into who God is for yourself. You will be surprised at the truths that you learn versus the truths that you heard. And once you start to learn and understand who God really is, it will open your mind to understanding who you really are. Because we all really are created in God's image. We're created to be like Him, mirrors of Him, if you will. So if there's love in God, there's love in you. If there's patience in God, there's patience in you. If God can give grace, so can you. And if God loves beauty and creativity, then of course you will also. So if you're on a journey to build your confidence, I want you to consider this. Maybe the confidence you're chasing isn't something to be built at all. Maybe it's something you return to. You were created with care, with purpose. And confidence flows when you finally believe that God did not mess up when He made you.